Hello, my dear students. So today's topic is advantages of division of labor. Okay. So what are the advantages of division when the labor are divided into different parts or sub parts according to his taste and preference? Then that will lead to a greater specialization and hence it will increase the productivity. Okay, so different advantages are there, we will discuss one by one. So number one, we have a right man at the right job. Okay, so when the workers are divided into number of parts or sub parts, each worker will be given the job according to his taste and preference. So according to his taste and preference means the job should be given to the different workers according to his knowledge, talent, skill. And if the job is provided according to his skill, knowledge, then obviously the productivity will increase. Okay, and that helps to specialize the workers in their particular field at the same time. Okay, at the same time it also leads to increase the production. So I will give you few examples related to this. Suppose say I am a good at suppose say I am a labor and I am good at carpentry work. So if I get the job related to carpentry work, I can give my 100% and obviously my efficiency will improve because I am interested in that particular type of job. Similarly, if someone is very much interested in teaching job, if he will get the job related to teaching, then he will contribute more. Okay, or his efficiency will increase. So that is called right man at right job. Means if I am suitable for that particular type of job, that responsibility should be given to me. If I am good at teaching, then teaching job should be given to me. If somebody will get that teaching job, he may not be able to explain in a better way. So that division of labor helps to specialization in the particular field. Now next point number 2, we have the second advantages. We have increase in efficiency of labor. So when the labor is doing a job, and if he is repeating the same job again and again, what will happen? He will be specialized in that particular type of work. And once we will specialize in the particular type of work, that is the benefit of that division of labor. We can say that that is a benefit of division of labor, and hence that helps to increase the productivity. Once again, increase in efficiency of labor. So how the division of labor helps to increase or improve the efficiency of labor? So when the laborers are divided into different job, and if the workers are repeating same job again and again, suppose say I am teaching in a school, and if I am doing the same thing again and again, what will happen? My efficiency level will increase, and when the efficiency increases, hence it will increase the productivity. Okay, it may be any field, any type of job. If we are repeating same job again and again, we will become more efficient in that particular field. So that is the advantages of this division of labor. Now third point we have reduction of saving of time and tools. Saving of time and tools. Now what is the meaning of this saving of time and tools? Saving of time and tools means if I am repeating same job again and again, as we know that will become more efficient in that particular job. So when someone is becoming more efficient, obviously he will consume less time to perform that job or to perform that work. Suppose say one is experienced experienced worker and the other one is inexperienced worker. Now when we see the performance in any type of job, he will be more efficient. Experienced worker will be more efficient because he is performing that same job, he is repeating that same job again and again, and because of that he has become more efficient, and that efficiency will reduce the time. Okay, that he will take less time to do that same work. Whereas when we are talking about this inexperienced worker, inexperienced worker means he is new in that particular job. So if someone is new in that particular job, he will take more time. Okay, he will take more time. So that is the advantages of that division of labor, because time will be saved, and within a short period of time they can contribute more in the production process. Now second one, we have tools. How that use of tools? So when the laborers are divided for different categories of job, okay, suppose say in a factory, a set of tools are there, whatever the set of tools they are using, and suppose say 5 laborers. Suppose say 5 laborers are there. Now if we give each set of these tools to each and every workers, that will be more expensive. And set of tools means all the equipments or all the necessary things that are required for performing his duty. Okay, so we have to give how many sets? 5 sets. But when we divide the labor for this particular job, suppose say we are talking about car factory. In car factory, suppose say 5 workers are there and different workers are doing different job. So if I give same set of tools to each and every one, it will be more expensive. But when I divide the workers for different work, suppose say I am suitable for fitting that wheels of a car, and someone is suitable for fitting the dynamo, someone is suitable for fitting the gearbox, if someone is suitable for fitting the window pans, if someone is suitable for fitting. So when we give different tools to the different workers, okay, one set of tool, with the help of one set of tool, 5 laborers can be engaged. They can be engaged and they will be performing their different duties. But if I give each and every set of tools to all the workers, what will happen? It will become more expensive. But when we divide the set of tools according to their job, so same set of tool can help to do their duty without any disturbances, and that will reduce the time. Okay, that will reduce the time, as well as that will save the money of any factory or company. So that is the advantages of division of labor, saving of time and tools. With the help of less tools we can do more. So that is the advantages of this division of labor. Now next advantages of division of labor, we have invention. So when we are repeating same job again and again, there are the possibilities of invention. Okay, possibilities of invention under division of labor. Now possibilities of invention means, what I'll do that I will try to simplify the process. Okay, when I'm repeating same job again and again, what I'll do, I will try to think myself to do the same thing in a easier way. So I will try to simplify the process of working. Okay, and once the process is simplified, it will be easier for me, that will be less time consuming, that will be less expensive, and it will increase the production. Okay, so that is the invention. So once we are repeating same job again and again, we will try to think how we can do the work in a simplified way or in a easier way. So that is the advantages of this division of labor. Next one, we have cooperation cooperation among the workers. So cooperation among the worker means, I will give you one example. As I said, in a car factory, suppose say different workers are there, 5 laborers are there, okay. First labor, second labor, third labor, fourth labor and fifth labor, okay. This is our labor, first labor. Now suppose say first labor is doing the job of fitting the wheels of a car, and the second worker is doing the job of fitting a gearbox, okay. And the third worker is supposed to doing the job of fitting brakes, and fourth worker is doing the job of fitting glasses, okay. And fifth one is doing the job of painting the cars or coloring the car. So we can see that the different workers are engaged in different type of job. So a complete car will not be produced until and unless we will combine the job, or we will combine the work of each and every labor. So cooperation of first labor, cooperation of second labor, cooperation from third labor, cooperation from fourth and fifth labor are equally important. So without the cooperation of each other, a complete product will not be produced. So this division of labor helps to cooperate among the workers. So cooperation among the workers, and that cooperation among the workers will help to produce a complete product, okay. So that is the advantages of this cooperation of. Now next point we have advantages. So advantages to the society. Now how the division of labor will provide a benefit to our society. So firstly, when there is a division of labor, first of all, what will do that they can produce the best quality product at the cheaper price. That means the variety of products can be produced at a cheaper price, okay. And the second advantage is that when there is a division of labor, employment opportunity will be generated more, because as I said, for each and every stages of production, what will require, each and every individual labor is required for each and every stages of production. Suppose in a garment factory, once again take the example of garment factory, in order to cut the piece of cloth, one labor is required. In order to take the measurement, one worker is required. In order to stitch the cloth, one labor is required. In order to fit the buttons, one labor is required. In order to press or in order to iron the clothes or piece of clothes, one labor is required. So for each and every stages of production, what is required, different laborers are required. So because of this garment factory, at least for one complete product, 5 laborers are required. So that is the advantages to the society, means employment opportunity will be created more. At the same time, due to division of labor, cheaper quality of products, the product will be getting at the cheaper price, okay. Best quality product will be getting at the cheaper price, or we can say that the variety of products will be available in the market at a cheaper price because of that division of labor. Now next topic we have disadvantages of division of labor. So according to some of the economists, what they say that division of labor has mixed blessing, okay, mixed blessing. So here mixed blessing. So what is that mixed blessing? Mixed blessing is advantages and disadvantages. That's why it is called mixed blessing. So advantages we have already done. Now we are going to start this disadvantages. So due to that division of labor, what we can say that it has an adverse impact on the workers as well as on the society as a whole. So we will discuss the different disadvantages. Okay, now we will start different disadvantages of division of labor. So number one, we have monotony of work. So first disadvantage is that when we are repeating same job, a job again and again, when we are doing same work again and again, what will become? The job will become monotonous, and because of that monotonous job, the workers may feel bored or the work may become dull for him. So that is one of the important disadvantages of this division of labor. Once again, this monotony means monotonous, repeating the same job again and again. So when workers are working for a same job again and again for years and years, if you are doing same job again and again for 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, what will happen? After a certain time period, you will start feeling bored. Okay, you will feel bored and work become dull for you or dull for anyone. So that is one of the important disadvantages of division of labor. Now, second disadvantages we have lack of responsibility. Now this lack of responsibility means, as we know that in the case of this complex division of labor, at each and every stages of production, different workers are involved. As I said, we can take any example. We can take the example of car factory, or we can take the example of garment factory. So when someone is out of, suppose say 5 workers are working there, out of 5, if anyone is spoiling the work, then we cannot blame that particular person, because that complete work is done by combining the effort of 5 workers or 5 laborers. Suppose say, let's take a car factory. First labor, second labor, third labor, fourth labor, and fifth labor. Okay, now this first labor is involved in one work, second labor is involved in another work, third labor is involved in another type of job, fourth one is involved in next job, fifth. So each and every individual has different responsibility. Now if any one of them spoil his work, or if any one of these 5 workers is neglecting his work, what will it become? The complete work becomes defective. Okay, the work will become defective, or because of this mistake from any one of them, if the product becomes defective, then that will be loss for the owner of a factory. So in that case, what will happen? We cannot blame anyone. So no one will take the responsibility that I have spoiled my work, I have spoiled from my parts, I have spoiled from your part. So no one will be responsible in that case. That's why it is called, due to that division of labor, there is a lack of responsibility. I will switch over, or I will shift my burden to one worker, that worker may shift his burden to some other worker, and that third worker may shift his burden to some other worker. In this way, the responsibility will keep on shifting from one person to another person, and due to that, the owner of a car factory may incur huge loss. Now next point, or next disadvantages, we have one-sided development. One-sided development means, as I said, suppose say in order to do the different job, or we know that at each and every stages of production, different laborers are involved. So when I am doing one particular job, I will be experienced I'll be efficient in that particular type of job, but I will not be knowing the complete knowledge about that product. Let's once again take that example of garment factory. A factory. Suppose your first worker is doing the work of measurement, and second worker is doing the job of cutting the piece of clothes, and third one is doing the job of stitching. Okay, now if I am repeating the job of this measurement again and again, yes, I will become efficient in this particular job. But when I am asked to do the job of this cutting a piece of clothes, I will not be much efficient in this work, because I have given my time for only this measurement. So I do not have complete knowledge about that particular product. I do not have knowledge about the complete product or complete work. Okay, I know only half part of the work. So I am good in only this measurement. But if I am given the task of this cutting the piece of clothes, I may not be able to do that. So what will happen when there is a too much division of labor? Then one-sided development will take place. I will not be knowing the complete knowledge about that product or about that work. I know only a part of that work. Okay. Similarly, it happens with the second worker. If second worker is good in cutting the piece of clothes, he may not be good in stitching the piece of clothes. So that is called one-sided development. If I am good at one work, I may not be knowing the other parts. Similarly, I can give you one more example. In a car, in order to produce a complete car, suppose I have given the responsibility of fitting the wheels. So I know more about that fitting the wheels, but I may not be knowing anything about fitting that gearbox, brakes, or fitting of that window pans or whatever may be. So in that part I am lacking. That's why it is called one-sided development. Now next disadvantages of division of labor may be fear of overproduction. As we know that when the laborers are divided for each and every type of work, or divided for different parts of work, or subparts, divided into subparts, what will happen that first of all the production will takes place in a large scale. Okay, when there is a division of labor, the production may takes place large scale. Okay, so when there is a too much or division or the complex division of labor, so there is a fear of overproduction. How? The production may takes place in a large scale, and once the production takes place in a large scale, what will happen? They may not be able to sell everything in the market. So sometimes what will happen that demand may be less than the supply. Okay, and if demand is less than the supply of product, what will happen? There may be the overproduction, and due to that the producer may incur huge loss. So that is also one of the disadvantages of division of labor. Once again, how there is a chances of fear of overproduction? Because of that division of labor, the production takes place in a large scale, and once the production takes place in a large scale, there is a fear of overproduction, because the demand may not be very high in the market to absorb the quantity whatever produced by the producers. So in that case, some of the products may remain unsold, and if it remains unsold means that will be huge loss for the producers.